Welcome to Learn the Sword. A few of my students have asked, how hard do you swing or cast the sword? And I must say that most everybody that casts a sword, when they're practicing through air, they cast a little too hard. And what happens is when you cast a little too hard, even though it feels good and the whistle of the sword sounds really nice, you're creating bad habits, because if it was a firearm, you're creating the bad habit of yanking the trigger a little bit more than squeezing the trigger. So let's think about this. A lot of times when people take a nice light wooden sword like this bokuto and they swing it down, you can hear it. I can throw it down and you can hear it pretty well. The problem is, why are we doing this? Why are we throwing it down that hard? We're not hitting an object, like dry firing a firearm. So what I'd like you to remember is, if you're trying to throw it down like that, it's good, but if you just take it and you cast down like this accordingly, then we can work on your rote memory and then add speed to it, like driving a vehicle. If you're going to be 16 and drive a vehicle, they give you a Ferrari, chances are on your first time out you'll probably crash it. Whereas you need a simple vehicle that goes slower, so after you learn all the different nuances and laws and regulations of driving, then you can go to a faster car just because you know how to handle it. Same thing with handling a sword. If you go too damn hard and too fast, you're going to injure yourself at a minimum. Now, when we swing down a sword though, we're thinking, what kind of tone should it make? Now, of course, wood makes a swoosh. So if you have a smaller piece of wood, it has a higher swish to it, or a higher tone. For example, if I come over to the wooden sword here like this, and I swing it down, I can swing it down really hard. The problem arises again, what happens when I do it too many times with my shoulders and my wrists? But then again, let's hear the sound. It's a little bit fuller, it's a little bit deeper than the lighter sword. So the heavier the sword, or the heavier the bokuto, the deeper the tone will be. What happens when we go to a hatsuwari, for example? Now the tone on a hatsuwari is really, really nice and light. So if you really want to get up there and throw something out hard, now this is the weapon to do it, because this is what it's made for, to go hard and fast and strike objects such as your opponent. You can use this or a shinai, but listen how this is. Yeah, now you can throw it out accordingly because it doesn't have too much weight behind it. What happens when we go to a shinai? Now, here is a shinai. A shinai is slightly longer than a hatsuwari. This is made more for sports, and this is made more for kenjutsu, or more angles, where this is made to go in more linear, a men or a kote or a ski or a do, for example, where this one on the body is hit anywhere you can, as long as it is honed and focused. But if I was going to take this and throw it out, oh, this is really nice and balanced for that. So when you're using a shinai that's nice and light, you can throw in the shots really, really heavy. But again, the heavier the tool, the slower you must swing it. Just because if you don't, well, let's just say that again, you'll be injured, and we don't want injuries. Let me take it over to a different war. And where is it? Ah, this one here. You've seen this one from before. Now if I take this one down, yeah, I can throw it down pretty hard and fast, but after about the third try, you're going to injure yourself. So remember, when you're building muscle, use a heavier one, and then do slow repetition. If you want to build speed and you want to get in there really, really fast, keep it really, 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 really light with a really light wooden sword, maybe 300 grams, and then use something like a hatsuwari or a shinai to work it that way. And then you can have the best of both worlds.